Hey, Pop Rockers, how you going? Paul with you tonight. Hey, if you don't know, just recently the world lost a great R&B hip hop artist named Coolio. You may know Coolio from the early 90s. If you're like me from the early 90s, he released a song called Gangster's Paradise, which was part of the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer, Dangerous Minds. Well, he recently passed away. Um, and before he actually passed away, he recorded one more song and that was just recently released. Um, the song was called "Do You Want It?" Do you want it? Sorry, and it features Aussie rap artist Katija. Now we sat down today and spoke with Katija. We spoke things about Coolio. We spoke things about her career and what she's up to. So stick around at the end of the video. As always, we'll be playing Katija's song that she's released, Like Diamonds, and we will introduce you to the song that Coolio recorded with Katija. Do you want it? So yeah, sit back, enjoy the interview, enjoy the Coolio's last song, and don't forget like, love, share, and now subscribe. Thanks very much. See you soon. Hey, Pop Rockers, Paul with you today. Hey, I've got a special guest today. I've got Katija, Australia's hip hop queen. Katija, how are you today?
Hi, Paul. Thanks for the intro. I'm fantastic today. Beautiful weather, sun is shining.
Oh, that's good. You need the vitamin D, get the sunlight into you. I can't stand it without it. I'm hotter the better for me. So, you said you originally come from Queensland.
Yes, yeah, I'm from the Sunshine Coast. I'm a Sunshine
Yep.
Coast girl, grew up there and moved to Melbourne. I think I was 17 when I moved to Melbourne to study
Yep.
performing arts. So
Yeah, because you've got I was reading your background. You've done a fair bit of studying.
yeah,
Musically and
yeah, definitely. I sort of coming out of school, I really knew that I wanted to kind of pursue doing, the arts, and I wasn't
yep.
quite sure what form yet. And I sort of started life as a hip hop dancer. So
Yep.
I moved to Melbourne to actually study full time performing arts and specifically more dancing here in Melbourne at Patrick Studios, Australia, and sort of did musical theatre course
Yep.
and that sort of thing. And then slowly kind of well, basically during that time, I realized I'm not exactly the best singer. So that's when I sort of swayed into more doing rapping. And that's sort of how I fell in love with rapping, because it was a way for me to kind of express myself and combine my love of dancing with my love of performing. And that's sort of
Yep.
how it all started.
So you've just released a new song, but we'll get to that in a
Mhm.
second. Your first track you released, Like a Diamond. I watched that earlier on today. That's a great track.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Look, I'm not like we like all types of music, but I'm not R&B, over the top R&B hip hop fan. But we've had a few people on recently that are R&B and hip hop, and the music's come. It's becoming more mainstream, if you ask me. But
It is. I would actually say my style, in a way, I actually call it kind of rap pop. So
yeah,
it's sort of a mix of because, as I said, I'm not like a pop singer and I'm not sort of trying to be a singer, and then
yeah,
I'm sort of mixing my love of R&B, hip hop, rap music, and combining the two to sort of
yeah.
give pop rap sort of performance. Yeah.
Because normally when you think about R&B and hip hop and that, it's mainly males and men.
Exactly. I mean, they've obviously always dominated the industry
Yeah,
from the early days, but you've got a lot of absolute rap queens that are out there at the moment. Obviously you've got people like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, and they're really leading the way for a lot of female rappers. But in Australia, I mean, we've had Iggy Azalea
yeah.
sort of come out of Australia, and she, I guess, opened the door for that sort of first look into having, I guess, an Aussie rapper. And that's, I guess, when people ask who he is similar to, in a way, I would say I'm kind of similar to Iggy, in the sense that I do more of that rapping sort of style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're lucky. You've got the dancing behind you as well.
Yeah.
So, which you can see in the video, Like a Diamond. You display all your talents there,
Well, I
singing,
actually
dancing.
choreographed all of that myself and did the costumes and the concept, and it was so exciting to see the vision come to life. Like that, as you said, that's one of my first tracks that I put out, and I kind of set myself a goal of you know, if I can do that, I can do anything from there. Let's just keep it rolling from there. So it was really exciting to put that love of dancing, the love of the music, put it together and create that video clip.
But you have now, it's unfortunate for you that with that song, you've set the bar pretty high to maintain.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to do it? Are you going to be able to maintain the?
Well, it's an interesting question because I've sort of been thinking a lot lately about, you know, people asking me, oh, are you going to do an album? Are you going to do an EP? And I'm actually currently, as a new artist, really trying to find, you know, you find your feet, discover your sound, your capabilities. And I'm really excited to kind of keep releasing a couple of singles first, which I want to treat each of them as their own project. So for me, the single will include a video clip, you know, maybe choreography, costumes, all of that. So it's like it's a full project with each single that I do. So I think in a way I did set the bar pretty high, but probably my next one that's coming will be a bit more relaxed, easier than me dancing and just moving, and then look forward to doing something a little bit more epic maybe after the next couple.
So you're not going to do a Taylor Swift and just dump 10 songs into the charts to go, hey, look at me, just buy the songs and.
Well, you know, I might have 10 up my sleeve. Who knows? We'll have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I just spoke to Zoe Badby, and she's in Melbourne as well, and I just had a bit of a complaint about Taylor Swift doing that and just flooding the charts with her own songs. No one else has got a chance of getting into the charts.
I'm actually really surprised. I mean, good on her. That's an amazing feat. But yeah, that's pretty wild to have the top 10 spots on the Billboard 100.
Yeah, I think she it was more of a marketing ploy because how like you've got Like a Diamond as your first track and you have to work that track to get it airplay to get it. But she just goes, oh hey, I'm Taylor Swift, I've just dumped 10 songs.
Yeah.
That could be the worst 10 tracks in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
And because she said I'm Taylor Swift, go get them, people just go do it.
Well, to be honest, and you know, I don't like to talk down about other artists and that, but I've noticed a lot of people doing that recently with a lot of albums that are just dropping, and it's the same sounding song every single, all 5, all 10 of them. They sound the same. There's no creativity or originality anymore, and it's just marketing. And they go, because I have that name now, because I've worked my way there, I'm just going to drop this, and everyone's going to listen to it regardless. And I think that's happening with a lot of artists at the moment, and it's bit disappointing because I want to see something new and exciting, and I miss the old days, you know, back in the 80s and 90s where people really put their heart and soul into what they were doing.
Yeah, well, personally for me, when I got the opportunity to have a look at your background and see what you're doing, and they asked if I want to do an interview with you, I'm like, yeah, get you on board. I had no idea who you were or your background, and when I started researching like a Diamond and the track we're about to talk about in a second, it was like, hey, there's a lot of Australian talent out there that we need to do more for.
There's so many talented people that I've seen and I'm starting to meet in and around the studio. Like I'm working out of an amazing studio in Brunswick, Cosmic Bounce Records, and the talent that I'm seeing come out of that studio of all these artists that they just should be out there. They should be on the charts. Like some of their songs, you know, I was playing it to one of my friends and they're like, this sounds better than some of the R&B old school, even stuff that's on the charts or has been. It's just in our backyard. Yeah.
See, I reckon I'm a strong believer that Australian radio stations should be playing more Australian music. So we do. We've got 2 stations. We've got the one that we play our mainstream music, and we've got one that we play nothing but Australian music.
Cool.
And I think that if you're broadcasting music and you're people in their car or whatever, you should be playing more. They should be playing more Australian music.
Absolutely, I love that. Keep doing that.
Yeah. Well, we've got to do something. We've got a huge pool of talent. Like
we do, absolutely. And it's interesting the formula of what kind of gets people there to be known and to get their music out. And the only way you're going to do that is by things like this, you know, and being broadcasted to everyone. Otherwise, nobody will know who you are.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about going on Australian Idol or The Voice or anything like that?
I've been told by a few people that I should. And I think for me, I always see Australian Idol as sort of singers. And maybe it's not, maybe I'm wrong. But again, I don't feel that for me, I really want to be doing sort of more that traditional singing style. I do want to focus more on that rapping attitude, characters, a bit of acting, you know.
I think that's what Australian Idol and that needs. Otherwise, it just becomes the same old.
You're right.
mass-produced stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe it does need something different.
Yeah, well, I was like I'm a fan of Carly Rae Jepsen. Don't
Mhm.
judge me.
Oh,
And she was on Canadian, I think it was Canadian Idol or American Idol, something like that. And she said that coming third was so much better than winning because she got the fame that
Mhm.
she had, but she then didn't have all those sticky contracts that she had to sign up to.
Good
But
point. Yeah. So you're
yeah,
saying go on and aim for third. Yeah.
no, I reckon that you should go on there and just get your songs heard. I think you'll get a bit of a fan following if you did that, but
Yeah, it's a great
that's up to you to do. Yeah, anyway. All right. So a couple of a month back, we
idea.
had the sad news that Coolio passed.
Mhm.
Now I'm lucky. I'm of the age I can remember um, the track Gangster's Paradise. I was playing that in the clubs when I was DJing. It
Yeah,
was in the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer,
yeah,
and he passed away recently. But before he passed away, he managed to work with you to
yeah.
produce a song.
It still gives me goosebumps, like,
Yep.
just the whole thought of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you do you know, were you the last, is this his very last single?
So as far as I know, once we'd finished our song, he'd gone back to America. He'd been back in America for about
Yep.
a month, maybe 2 months. And we had like a group chat where we were sharing because we had other things we were,
Yep.
other projects he'd even started. We were the only song that he'd actually finished on
Yep.
his time here in Australia. He'd started many, but none
Yep.
of them actually kind of came to fruition. And he was sharing with us even songs that he'd done with these guys over in the UK or in like these
Yep.
Irish guys, all these different things. And but none of it was actually finished. It was just all concepts and ideas. So
Yep.
as far as I know from what he was personally sharing with us, there was nothing else that was sort of on its way to be released.
Yep.
I'm sure they will release many things now that he's gone,
Yep.
from other platforms and that sort of thing. But as far as on his platform, on his Spotify, apart from releasing old albums and
Yep.
songs, I think this would be one of the, if not the last singles that he worked on.
Yeah, because this is Coolio featuring yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Um, the song is quite sexual, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not really something that I typically as well, it's not my sort of style of music of what I want
Yep.
to sort of perceive myself as to my audience.
Yep.
I'm a businesswoman as well. So I run
Yep.
my own business. I've had for the last 7 years. I've got that professional side. I've got, young girls that I know that look up
Yep.
to me as well. So I'm very aware of that. But I also, to have the opportunity to work with someone like Coolio, who's an absolute
Yep.
icon and a legend. And I grew up listening to him. I grew up doing, I remember in music school doing like an a cappella version of Gangster's Paradise as
Yep.
an assessment piece. It's like, I loved him. So when I had the opportunity to work with him, of course, I
Yep.
wanted to jump on board and build that relationship. And we also were going to develop into doing other projects as well. So it's a real
Yeah.
shame
Yeah,
none of
because
that.
I did read you had other things planned with him as well, which is, like you said, it's a shame that.
Well, the video clip would have been great. That would have been a lot
Yeah.
of fun. He was due back in Australia maybe in about 2 months from now.
Oh,
And, we were going to be working on a video clip and then obviously communicating back and forth, just sending ideas and
yeah.
projects. But,
How did it make you feel, you know, working with him, like knowing that of his fame and how well known he was? How did it make you feel being able to work with someone like that?
I think I'm not the type of person to get that sort of,
Yep.
starstruck sort of thing. I think everybody is a human being like you and me, and
Yep.
with some of these people who are obviously very highly successful in what they do and very well known. But what I loved about him was how actually genuine and cool. I know how he got the name Coolio
Yeah.
because he's very cool. He's very chilled, very relaxed, genuine, down to earth. He's not flashy like all those other rappers where they're flashing their chains and
Yep.
their money and their this. He was just genuinely there because in the studio because he wanted to work and he wanted to create and he wanted to meet people. So I felt really comfortable from the minute that I met him.
Yep.
And I think we just connected straight away because we just spoke on that human level.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's good when you can do that. Like I'm lucky. we've only just started doing these video podcast type sessions,
Mm.
and the amount of people I've spoken to, I spoke to one person. I thought, oh, this is going to be so hard. I'm an inexperienced
Yeah.
interviewer, but I thought, oh, this is going to be so hard. But when I got into the interview with this one person, it was, down to earth. It was nice. It was the greatest conversation I've ever had, and it's good knowing that like everyone is humble in what they're doing, pretty much.
Absolutely. I think, it's part of like the fame comes with music. That's
Yep.
just sort of what comes with it, whether you like it or not, because you're putting your music out to an audience. But as long as you can just keep being you, doing what
Yep.
you're doing, true to yourself, I think that shows to people. If you're going with the intention of, I just want to quickly, quick 10 minutes of fame, then
Yep.
that doesn't last long, definitely.
Nah. We're talking about that and getting to know you. We're going to have 10 questions. I've got me little pink cards here, so I'm going to randomly pick out 10 questions. Now, these questions range from, or I was got to remember to try and count at the same time, 5. They're some of them are, but they're pretty boring if you ask me. But
I'll do my
I'm not
best.
that creative when it comes to asking questions. Cool. So here we go. We've got 10 questions. It's all about you. Some of these questions you're going to walk away going, why did I ask? Why? But it's we want people to know who you are.
Okay, hit me.
Cool. Question number 1. What is your favorite fruit?
Oh, my favorite fruit. Probably bananas. I eat like 2-3 bananas a day.
I've been told you're not supposed to have more than 2 bananas a day.
Well, that explains a lot.
You can have small ones. Okay.
Okay.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, actually neither. I marvel.
All right. If you had coffee, blend 43 or international roast?
Blend 43.
None of the bogan dust. Your favorite sport?
Oh, is dancing a sport? Because
Yep.
dancing all the way.
Okay, we've had your favorite fruit. Now, what is your favorite food?
It's my dad's spaghetti bolognese. Can't tell.
Cool. Your favorite place? Anywhere in the world?
Probably Croatia. I'm half Croatian, and it's absolutely beautiful over there.
Oh yeah, I'm dying to go there. It's beautiful.
Must.
What is your favorite city?
Favorite city would probably be Barcelona. I love the architecture, Gaudi, all of those things. The culture there was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I'll leave that one to last because that was a good question. Other than your genre of music, being R&B and hip hop, what is your next favorite?
Next favorite genre, probably it's hard. It's all I really listen to is R&B and hip hop, but maybe more sort of indie artist, or maybe house. Probably house music as well, I'd say.
Yeah. Have you heard of Bailey Rodriguez?
No, I haven't.
He's another upcoming R&B hip hop artist. I'm pretty sure he's in Melbourne too.
Check
He might be. Or Queensland, but he's up and coming. He's another great singer. As I was saying, R&B and hip hop's really picking up. All right, so got to get back to these. Favorite milkshake flavor?
Chocolate all the way.
Chocolate. Fill in the gap. I can't live without.
I can't live without coffee.
Coffee. All right. Last question. What is your spirit animal?
A tiger.
Tiger.
Yep, that's my spirit animal.
Oh, cool. We just come back from holidays. We spent a couple of days in Sydney, a couple of days in Melbourne. We went to Taronga Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Day before the lions got out. So.
Oh, I heard about that.
Had nothing to do with it. So.
Oh, sure.
Alrighty. Let's go back to your song.
Mm-hmm.
Do You Want It? Coolio featuring yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How was the process? How did it all come about?
So it was really interesting because Coolio was here in Australia on the Made in the 90s tour, and he met a videographer through our studio and backstage at the Bliss and Esso concert. And he said, I really, really want to go into a studio and make some music. Like, he just had this real sort of creative itch again. So he got introduced into our studio. And it was the night of my first ever video clip shoot for my other song, Lullaby, which actually was a freestyle that I did before, Like a Diamond. And I came into the studio and just there was Coolio, like just chilling on the couch. He'd just sort of finished his session, and he ended up staying and hanging out for the night while I was doing my video clip shoot. So that's how we sort of got to know each other. And then it was a couple of weeks later, and he'd been, working around the studio and with KB, who is the producer there.
Yep.
And he'd picked this beat that KB made, and he absolutely just fell in love with it instantly because when you hear the track, you'll hear it's like that funky disco horns,
Yep.
like it's out of the ordinary. And I think, like in his words, he said, he's been to many studios here in Melbourne, but he hasn't heard any sounds like that kind of come out of any of the studios. So instantly he just sparked and wanted to write, so it got creative. I think he spent a couple of writing sessions, and he kind of got almost stuck to finish it off. It was like it was missing something.
Yep.
And that's when he kind of realized, oh, we need a female feature on the track because, if you listen to the lyrics, it kind of needs that playfulness back and forth.
Yep.
So at that point, basically because we'd formed the relationship and I'd met him, he'd seen what I could do in my first song and sort of thought that my style kind of matched his.
Yep.
I came along to the studio, sat in on the session, and basically just started writing the female reply of what he was saying. So obviously staying in tune with what he'd already kind of created. And it happened pretty quickly. Like it took maybe an hour to sort of write that in. I got in the booth, did it probably in just a couple takes and sort of nailed it. And I came out, and it was just really surreal to have Coolio out there. And he was saying, it's really impressive that I was able to come in and actually match his vibe, his energy, because he's worked with a lot of other features, but they haven't been able to just match that energy that he has. So we had this really nice complementing sort of sound that came out.
You can tell in the song, you can see that it's,
Yeah.
Now, you said that when you walked in, he was on the lounge. Did you know who he was when you first walked in? Did you know who it was?
Yeah, well, I knew that he'd been around the studio, or I'd heard that he'd kind of been in already like a day or two before.
Yeah.
So when I walked in, I mean, of course, I knew who he was, and it was a massive surprise. And then the fact that he sort of just hung out for the night was just really cool. And it was one of those feelings for me, like it was my first ever video clip shoot. So that was already special enough. And then to have Coolio, one of my childhood idols and icons, just sitting there while I'm doing my video clip shoot was just absolutely an amazing experience.
Yeah. It'd be pretty good learning from someone with all that amount of experience. It's something you can't put a value on.
I think that's what I'm going to, really miss the most is the fact that he really opened the door for me and said, please let me help you with other stuff that you're writing. Like send it to me. I'll help you. We can do sessions, even, remotely while he was in America. And I'm just, really upset and disappointed, that we will never get to perform together because I was really, really excited to have that opportunity as well. But also to be able to learn from someone who has so much experience. When you see him in their writing and the way it just comes to him and the way he puts words together, it's just incredible.
Well, I've got to congratulate you on the song. It's a great song. I wish you all the best with it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that the rest of Australia and the rest of the world is going to see the talent, or your talent, that Coolio saw in you, because like I said, like a diamond, and listening to Do You Want It, you have got a great voice and a great future ahead of you. That's why we've got you down as Australia's hip hop queen. We just want to
love that.
Yeah, well, hopefully one day you'll be there and you'll go, hey, this is where it all started. And
not hopefully, one day I will be.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah. Well, we want to be part of that journey, and we'll do everything we can.
Appreciate you guys giving the opportunity to us, like upcoming, Australian artists, and keep doing what you're doing. And for me, I'm so grateful that you've had me on your show today. So thank you so much.
The pleasure's all ours. We're just grateful, like from our point of view, because we've only just started off ourselves, is that having artists like yourself and some other bigger names and some smaller names, they've all turned around and said, yeah, let's do this. And I think the only way that Australian music, no matter what genre it is going to be, is by all of us artists, being recording artists or what we're doing, writing and website stuff, and is to come together and push that out.
It's the only way. We have to support each other. I think that's one reminder that we all need for each other is here in Australia, you hear a lot about that tall poppy syndrome that people say. I don't see it too much, but, apparently it's out there. And it's where people, instead of, celebrating each other's success and cheering each other on and going, go for it, like you've got this, they tend to sort of pull them down a bit. So I think to really come together as a community, as a music community, help each other wherever we can, work together, collaborate.
I think that like you're saying about that tall poppy syndrome thing, I do see that a bit, but I don't see it in the industry. I see it as other people outside
Yeah,
that want to boost you up and then rip you down, and
which
it's a sad thing.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, well, thank you very much for coming along. We won't drag too much time out of your day.
Thank you
We
so much.
wish you that the pleasure's all ours. We'll hopefully have you back again soon. But before you go, are you performing any shows or any gigs anywhere?
So you can expect in probably February, March of next year, I'm going to be holding a hip hop night down at the Vineyard in St Kilda for
Yep.
everyone in Melbourne. So I'm going to be sort of emceeing the night and putting on some of my music, and also getting a lot of local hip hop artists and other artists sort of the opportunity to perform as well at my local sort of area.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's where you'll be able to, I guess, see a first glimpse of me doing live performances. I've got a couple of singles that I'm releasing between now and then, so that I've got a few more things that I can sort of perform to my audience. So yeah.
Oh, you got to keep us in the loop, so that way we can put your show on our gig guide, because we've got our gig guide that we're doing. Any chance of getting over to WA?
To WA? Why not?
Because I was thinking what you just said then, having like you're putting on the show and you're getting other artists. That's a fantastic idea.
Absolutely. Like that's the whole, what we're just talking about, coming together community. I don't know if you've been to St Kilda here in Melbourne, but we've got a massive music community in St Kilda, a lot of live music, and there is so much talent and it just needs to be showcased. So I'm really excited. We're in the process of putting it all together and organizing it. And as soon as I've got a start date, I'll let you guys know, and we'll have some great artists for everyone.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we'll get you over here to WA, get a following in WA and all around Australia.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you once again. Thank you
so much. Lovely to meet you, Paul, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Yeah, you too.
Speak soon.
Yeah. KB. Coolio. I'ma show you how I get it real. I'ma show you how I supposed to feel. I'ma go gang, gangsta on it. Deeper than the letters where it ain't no opponents. Ain't no opposition, ain't no competition. So set it up and wet it up, assume position. I'm Shaka Zulu boo to you, my baby. Super sloppy on your lobby, I'll drive you crazy. Do you want it in the bathroom? Yeah. Do you want it in the living room? Yeah. Do you want it in the bedroom? Yeah. Starting up from now on the headroom. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you need it? Do you need it? I need it. I'ma give it to you. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you need it? Do you need it? I need it. Come get it then. Coolio with the flow, with the whole committee. I got big lips, I can suck both titties. I ain't playing with you, girl, I'm staying with you. We both land on the beach in the big picture. I don't give a fuck, do what you like. I'm a lesbian, I can handle dykes. Cobra Kai, Chip and Dale when it's time to strike. Got soul in my bowl, Magic Mike. Stand tall, man tower. Hope you can handle about 4 hours. No seafood or clam chowder. Pineapples go meat, man power. Stand tall, man tower. Hope you can handle about 4 hours. No seafood or clam chowder. Pineapples go meat, man power. Do you want it in the bathroom? Yeah. Do you want it in the living room? Yeah. Do you want it in the bedroom? Yeah. Starting up from now on the headroom. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you need it? Do you need it? I need it. I'ma give it to you. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you want it? Do you want it? I want it. Do you need it? Do you need it? I need it. Come get it then.
Cause I want it in the bathroom. Yeah, I need it in my living room. Cause I want it in the bedroom. Show me, baby, what's your next move? We can do it from the left to the right, top to the bottom, silk or cotton. In the front seat, back seat, on the trunk, on the hood like a track meet. You want it, I got it. Freak to the beat, ain't no stopping. Up all night, boy, we poppin'. Who can do it like us? Nobody. Your body on my body, we stay kicking it like karate. Your fantasy is my hobby.
Do you want it in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Do you want it in the living room?
Yeah.
Do you want it in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Starting up from now on the headroom. Do you want it? wanna, do you want it? Do you wanna, do you want it?